Today I wanted to thank Mr. Donald Trump because he managed to do something I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and it is to really bring attention to the immigration crisis that we have in Sweden. And it's not just that we take them in, it's what happens afterwards, what we're doing to our own people. This has gone so viral, so it has been for days that people, this is like the topic of the day. And you see lots of tweets about it and everything, and people comes and, well, a lot of people that taunt Sweden, but it's well expected. But the main thing is that people realizes, oh, something is up. Even Sweden, they can't just ignore when the world laughs at them and it's like, what the hell are you doing? Because obviously they have to react. And well, the problem is that it's not really every Swedish person's fault, because some people want this multiculturalism, diversity, but some people hate it. But obviously, this globalism, they want to divide people through political correctness. So if you have any conservative belief, any classical, like, oh, only a man and woman should marry, that's wrong. That's, pride, top priority one in Sweden, it's better to be gay than straight. And then you have race issues where they're gonna focus and concentrate with all available tools to help immigrants rather than the youth and the current population of Sweden. They rather focus on the immigrants. They cover up crimes that they commit. And this has also been stated through WikiLeaks and admitted by the police for the past 5 years. And this is just tremendous how horrifying it is that the media that people are supposed to trust, the police, the officials, we can't trust them. It's obvious that, if you know what globalism is, that it is like this, but for a normal person that have never heard about globalism, it's just gonna be very numbing, like, what is going on? People are attacking each other, and this is going on every day. People are getting murdered and killed every day. In my hometown, cars gets burned every day. It's chaos. Normal Swedish people, they like to be calm. They like to, have nice homes, and because, it's long winters and a home is very important, so they like to have nice neighborhoods. But when you move in a lot of Arabs and stuff, then the entire areas gets trashed. And sometimes when Sweden lets them come here, they refuse to get off the bus because, oh no, we're not in a big city, we're out in some small ass place in the woods. We're gonna refuse, we're gonna sit here until we get into a city like Malmö or Gothenburg, Stockholm, whatever, some suburb close to there. That's most likely where they end up. We are so naive and over-welcoming that we, Swedish people, refuses to admit these issues. Well, at least the media. I mean, people like me, there are people like me that are very against this. And the problem is that with the political correctness, you're afraid to speak out. It's attack to what Americans call the First Amendment. You can't practice your freedom of speech, because then you will be called a racist, homophobe, or all of these titles, labels, probably a better name for it. And you're just afraid of losing your job, your credibility, and your future, because you express your mind, your free intellect, and all of these things. And it's treacherous how weak-minded we have become. We have become weaklings. And we used to represent a country of strength. But now it's a country of, well, over-welcoming and self-destructual cultural suicide nation. We're losing our sovereignty this way, because eventually it will become just too much to handle. The police can't handle the criminals that are here today. They're getting killed. It's not that rare that you actually see reports where, oh, a police officer died. And whenever a police officer hurts a person because they are afraid to do stuff to these people that are committing crimes every day, because they are afraid of, you know, losing their jobs and everything. They're being attacked by the media all the time. But you know, it's not as bad when a police dies, or if a police simply shoots or, you know, hits a criminal, or, you know, say a word or so. It's ridiculous. Should you really be focusing on words? It should be the action that you focus on. Put cameras on the police. You'll see that the police are doing their job just fine in orderly fashion. And these people, they aren't, you know, calm. They aren't peaceful like the Swedish, the culture that Sweden has been trying to bring, this loving and peaceful nation. No, they hate Swedish people plain out. I lived with them most of my life. I know that these people are coming from a country, Middle Eastern often, and then they tend to keep to themselves instead of migrating into Sweden. They tend to stick to their old tradition, keep teaching their language, and you know, this is your primary language. And when the kids grow up, they become angry. They're like, the second generation, the third generation, you know, etc., etc. And they grow resentful and hateful towards Swedish people. And you know, a lot of people that fled because of Islamic terror and etc. Those kids, they grow up and becomes fanatic because we have internet. We can just sit down on a computer and be like, it turns out that this Islamist group is pretty cool, and they want to join those groups. That's what's going on. They look through Facebook and Twitter, and while Twitter censors conservative media, they have not been censoring those types of medias, and then you wonder what the hell is going on. It was up for quite some time, and the tools they had to recruit people openly, and they try to restrict people from having expressions about migrants. It's obvious politics at play, but that's what you need to root out, because obviously it's a political game. People are trying to gain power, and they're trying to kill the other side with silence.
Silence like a cancer grows.
They're trying to smother us. We're not allowed to express ourselves, and therefore we'll lose our freedom of speech. And this extreme left that's coming, you know, not even communism was like, we're gonna take in people from every country in the world. I mean, they wanted equality amongst the people that were there to maintain order. But what we are doing now, it's plain out simple, causing a different demographic. It's cultural suicide, and it's to make the country poor. There's people that gains from making European countries poor. They want this to happen. And that's why you should try to inform everyone you know, like, you know, these things are actually going on. Because people live in a bubble where everything is safe, nothing is going on, because they live in perhaps, you know, their uptown world. But if you look outside your window into your neighbor's house, then all of a sudden you will see murders, cars burning and everything. But they refuse to admit this. They say it's like our Prime Minister, oh, it's a tragedy. You know, this girl was assassinated, murdered in an asylum home, and you know, by some boy. And he's like, oh, it's tragedy. But whenever a Swedish boy kills an Arab or something like that, and it's a Nazi, it's evil, this should stop to 100% and 1,000 more. Whenever there's Arabs, they refuse to write it was an Arabic immigrant that attacked a Swedish girl or something, or raped, group rape or whatever. They refuse to write those facts. Or in IKEA, there was a black person that attacked a mother and a son and stabbed the son to death. And he was black, but no, they refused to mention it. They refused to mention the facts. And these facts are so important because this will help people interpret the reality of the situation. But because of political correctness, and it might be considered racist and hurtful, then we cannot say that it was a black man. It was a Swedish man. So they say it's Swedish men that commits these crimes. So it brings up a false picture of the reality of the situation. And it paints Swedish people as bad people. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing that, oh, it was a Swedish man that committed this crime. Oh, Swedish committed terrorist ISIS attack. Like, no, it wasn't a Swedish person. It was some freaking Arab that came here, that was freeloading in our country of our social money, and instead of helping our own people and making our own people strong, we tend to take in these people that manipulates us, cheat with taxes, cheats with, you know, just about anything. There's people that have 1,000 cars on their names that other bastards can just go around and park everywhere, and because Swedish law is so pathetic, we can't even take them in. And then you have all these underage gangsters that goes around and do their crimes. And what happens to them when they get caught? They get released because they're underage. If you're under 18, I think perhaps it was 21 even, then they can't detain you. They can't hold you and question you, especially without lawyer. So then they have to immediately release you, and the punishments in Sweden are so minuscule, so it's just ridiculous. It's far more worth to commit, criminal manipulations of the systems, be a criminal, a professional one, rather than just be an honest, hard-working man. Because, I've been working below minimal pay, and just working as an apprentice. When I get a job, it's not a real job, so I get below minimal pay. And then they focus, the politicians, the socialists, they'll focus on, we must make it better for immigrants that comes into our country and make sure that they get a fair pay. But what about the people that lives there and that works hard? And I worked for a year with below minimal pay, and I had back problems eventually because I had to work so hard, lift trash from these Arabs because they come in and trash, they throw entire sofas out and refrigerators, everything, and they expect people to come and pick it up. Gangs that sits and eat their nuts, they smash windows every day and you have to go and pick it up, and people are afraid to go outside their doors because there's gangs smoking pot and stuff, and the police says, just stay inside your homes, you're safe, it's no problem. The list goes on and on, but the truth of the matter is the police can't keep up. They completed less than 50% of their reported crimes. And imagine that there's a far more reported crimes than what the reported crime is. And that's just a bizarre, tragic fact. And yet people are trying to suppress the police and say that, oh, we should be careful with police brutality. No, the police should start shooting these people on sight when they start and burn cars, when they jump out and try to attack. Because what happened in Rinkeby was that police were going to arrest a guy. Lots of people came, about 40, 70 or so, and they started to riot. And one guy had one of these stone plates from the pavements and was about to, really harm the police officers. So, they acted in self-defense and shot this guy. And people, started to burn cars and everything. This is something that has to change if Sweden wants to reverse this tragic events that's been going on here. Because we are literally committing cultural suicide. I mean, this town where I used to live in, it used to be a nice place where rich people used to come to go on their vacations, have their summer place and etc. But as time had went on, it had been a pure ghetto for Arabs. So every restaurant, every school around here, it's full of Arabs. If you look and stand and film, you'll see 20 Arabs and one Swedish kid. It's that bad in some places. Though I live in a very concentrated place, place, so that's one thing, but still, where I live, it's one of many places in Sweden. There's a lot of no-to-go zones if you're like a tourist or whatever, if you want a pleasant and safe journey in Sweden. But nowadays, crimes just happens just about anywhere. You're not safe anywhere. You have gangsters that stands outside of kindergartens and deals drugs. And when parents get their kids, oh, they get death threatened. Like, I know. I've been death threatened. I've been attacked many times. My mentor got death threatened, and they sliced the tires of his car, etc. These people are ruthless. They are given too much power, because no one sets their foot down and tells them, you can't do this. Now you're gonna pay for it, and really pay for it dearly. No, these people are given more privilege, and it's just not worth it to pursue these people, because you can't really do a single thing about it. And our politicians refuses to do something about it, to correct the issues. And basically every political party is towards the left, even if it's a conservative party. All of them are on the page of this lunatic liberal left, rather than having some conservative point of views. That's why this so-called racist party is growing and growing and growing, because people fail to realize that the reason why they are growing is that the people that are being suppressed, the people that are being smothered, that wants to preserve Sweden, that sees the truth, that are not being blindly naive and brainwashed in school, because in school they sit and brainwash people too. I was through that. I remember. You can't have a different opinion, because, oh no, you can't think like that. That's bad. Oh yeah. I'm so happy that Donald Trump brought forth this issue, and it has gone viral, people talking about it, and I hope people will continue to do so, and not just about Sweden and like, oh, it's so bad, because you have to be realistic and to really see what the problem is, because oh yeah, sit and laugh, because that's gonna happen to your country eventually. They're just this is just the beginning, and if this doesn't get a stop, this will be across the entire Western nations, because that's how the European Union works, and that's what people like Obama try to do, and that's what they're gonna try to keep do, because the globalists want this. They want to destabilize us and impoverish us, and through our impoverishness they will grow rich and powerful, and they will command power. But now I wanted to show something that I added to my collection. So what I have here is a collection. Those bad guys in movies that have like diamonds and gold bars and stuff. I really want to have a gold bar or something to, show off and be like, oh, look at what I have. But since I'm poor, I can't. You see, I have this wooden thing I made in school, this cobra. I was once in a different country, Bali, and bought that, and this cool dragon thing here. Oh yes, dragon. Dragon's so cool. And this painting. So it's 3 souvenirs from the same place, so it's kind of boring in a way, but still, they're very cool. I think it's really cool stuff. But what I bought, I bought this. Yes. Real silver coin. Inauguration, first day issue, silver coin. Donald Trump. There you see, that's the front. It's in plastic, so I won't touch the silver. It's a very cool coin. I figured, since I'm poor, I couldn't buy the gold coin, but since I think this president is doing so well, I was, first skeptical when I heard of him, but when I researched myself, I realized how this media is full of bullshit, like usual, corrupt and stuff, so obviously everything is gonna be bad. I can't get it out with one hand. But I also bought a copper coin. It was far cheaper than the silver one, I can say, but at least, I thought it would be cool. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, and also it's like a thing of proof. And here's the bronze coin. Perhaps I should have it to the light. I have a flashlight that's trying to light up the place because it's... can't light up the place. That's why I had the sunglasses. Pretty cool coin, huh? I think it's cool. Anyways, probably gonna be one of the greatest presidents because they're in a $20 trillion debt and they really need to get out of there. I don't think Trump can really, I mean, if you're $20 trillion million behind, I just don't know how you can say that you're not bankrupt, but I mean, I'm not an economics expert or anything, but if anyone can reverse the problem, it is him, and he's doing something that I really like. He's self-empowering the nation by building a strong infrastructure rather than Sweden that rather to prefer total globalization when it comes to food and everything. So that when if it would be war, they would have to take in food, for example, meat from Brazil. But imagine if it's a world war and Brazil can't give us food. Oh, all of a sudden we're gonna have lots of people starving to death. So it's a good thing to keep in mind. Anyways, that's my collection. I hope you liked it and don't get spooked.